Welcome to Make a Path Presents. My name is Ronnie Hayes. Today, let's talk Negan before Jesus, Saviors before Hilltop, the Wolves and the Saviors together. Pick a title. Listen, real quick, guys. I want to mention before season 6 aired, I ran a video saying I don't believe Negan's going to be in the season. He'll probably be in season 7, but they most likely 100% will show the Saviors. Absolutely. And I said definitely set the Saviors up as early as possible and name drop and all this. And I still agree with that 100%. However, I did say something also. I said I thought it would be very odd, and this is what led me to believe the Saviors might not be in Season 7 with Negan and everything, is the fact that it's odd writing to have the Wolves and then the Saviors. And this is why, because you get, like, look how clean this is. The Governor ends. You know, the Hunter's End. The Wolves End. The Savior's End. Then what? The Whisper's End. See how it's so clean cut? Oh, new bad guy. Oh, he's over. New bad guy. Oh, it's over. So I said that's extremely odd, awkward, and just phony writing to have it like that. Now, listen, almost all the time, it's impossible to get around that. Realistically, you could say, okay, the Governor's in this area, and then when they leave, the Hunters are in this area. That helps. So it helps the comic book a lot to do it like that. But with the TV show, I just thought it was so clean cut to do it in one season like that. Now, like for example, the Claimers, I like that in the TV show because they were leaving the prison. They ran into this group and it was dragged out over a few days. I liked what they did. They fleshed it out. Same thing in the comic. Rick and them were nowhere near the area the Claimers were at, and when they went out looking for Morgan, that's when they ran into him. Shit like that is fine because you're going in different territories, different areas. But on the show, seeing as it's in Alexandria, I thought it would be so weird to do. The Wolves are dead. Oh, look, new bad guys. But they did something that I think helps out tremendously, and it goes into whether or not the Saviors are being rushed, but right now I'm on the fence with it. I need to see how it plays out to really know if they're being rushed or not. And what they did is they have the Wolves, technically with the one wolf still alive, they have that wolf story still lingering. We are just coming out of the main wolf story because this is in their time, not in our time as fans. In their time, they had this shit with the wolves and the Corey herd. This is happening over the span of 2 or 3 days. Now, with the Savior's introduction now, we're not even done clean break with the wolves. So I do like how we brought in the Saviors, or they brought in the Saviors and name dropped Negan when the Wolves storyline isn't, clean cut over with. So I did like that. Now, again, this is going to go into the conversation of is it rushing it? Right now, I don't feel like it's rushing it, but I think there's a huge amount of potential still on the table for it to come out as being rushed. Like, I'll tell you right now, right off the bat, I don't like the idea of taking Rick's badass comic book story moment, which is meeting the Saviors on the road, just like we've seen. I don't like the idea of taking that away from Rick as a main character and giving it to Abraham, Daryl, and Sasha. Like, I despise that idea. So, I don't know if that's what they're doing, but it looks like that is what they're doing. Absolutely. Now, again, I tend to view the show in two different things. So as a comic book fan, I'm kind of annoyed that they took that story part away from Rick. But as a show fan, I'm liking how they brought the Saviors in as the shit is still popping off with No Way Out and with the Wolves, because now it feels layered. It feels real, you know what I'm saying? Because if you look at documentaries, let's say you're looking into the mafia, there's so much shit. Like, you don't get, one mobster rises and falls, another rises and falls. It's not that clean cut. You'll get this mobster rising, but look, Al Capone was running with this gang and he was a apprentice to this guy, and then over time it's layered, so by the time Al Capone rises, you have everyone dealing with each other, you know, the families and all that shit. It's not clean cut to where you have, oh look, this villain, look at the Bonnie and Clyde and everyone. All the outlaws in that time were all happening at the same time. A lot of it was layered and interweaved. Some of them were even robbing banks together, you know what I'm saying? So I like that. That might be a ridiculous example, but I like that example. Anyway, I like how it's layered. So I want to know your opinion. Do you think it's rushed right now? Are you getting that worry it might be rushed? Do you like how they brought the saviors in during the Wolves aspect, or are you a fan that once it, segment it into its own stories? Like, okay, do the Wolves, and then do the Saviors and the Saviors. Me personally, I like it layered because the comic book, it's layered really well. Like, we have the Savior shit, and we went past the Savior story with Negan and everything, and we're still... they're still in the story, but we've moved on to other stories. You see what I'm saying? So it's not as clear-cut, And they have done that on the show. I'm not saying the show does it all the time where it's like, oh, look, one enemy done, another enemy done. The show does layer things really well. They do flesh stories out. I'm talking in general with TVs and movies. A lot of times it just feels like it's too clean. I like the layered aspect better. Anyway, give me your thoughts and opinions on this topic in that comment box. I'm done talking. It's your turn. Subscribe now.